Simone Banner had flown the San Francisco to Newark route a dozen times before. It was long and uneventful, a good stretch of air to read, think, and prepare. At 47, she had learned how to move quietly, never needing to announce herself. Blazer, dark jeans, no heels, no logo on her tablet, no loud phone calls, just stillness and focus. Her boarding pass read 2A, first class window. She preferred the left side of the plane for the reduced glare when reading. She tucked her tablet under her arm, offered a soft hello to the passenger in 2B, and sat down. That was supposed to be it. The flight attendant, young and new by the looks of her, approached with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Excuse me," she said, her voice tight. "Can I see your boarding pass again?" Simone blinked, confused, but handed it over. The woman stared at it longer than necessary, then asked, "Are you sure this is your seat?" "I'm in 2A, Simone said, her voice even. "Just like it says." The attendant frowned, mumbled a quick, "Okay," and walked off. No apology, no smile this time. Simone felt the shift, that gut feeling when the mood around you tightens and the air gets too still. People glanced sideways without moving their heads. Someone adjusted a seat belt too loudly. But she stayed quiet, focused on her notes. The acquisition meeting was at 9 the next morning, less than 24 hours away. Months of negotiations were coming to a head. Avalon Dynamics wanted her company. They just didn't know it was hers. Not yet, but sometimes the flight takes a detour long before takeoff. 10 minutes passed, then 15. The cabin filled slowly, mostly business travelers, a few familiar faces from the industry. No one spoke much, just rustling jackets and muffled yawns. Simone stayed focused on her tablet, running through projections. Then two men boarded the plane with purpose, not airport staff but security, blue uniforms, radios clipped to their shoulders, and that particular kind of silence that comes before something embarrassing happens to someone else. The lead officer, taller, mid-40s, stepped forward and said her name like a question. "Ma'am, Simone Banner." She looked up, puzzled. "Yes, can you step off the aircraft with us for a moment?" The entire front cabin seemed to go still. "Why?" she asked, slowly placing her tablet into her tote. "Is something wrong?" The shorter officer looked toward the attendant, who now hovered by the galley avoiding eye contact. He turned back to Simone. "There's been a report about a seat issue. We need to verify some information." Simone gave a short breath, half amused, half annoyed. "I showed my boarding pass twice. We understand, but we need you to come with us." She paused. "You need me to leave this seat that I paid for so you can verify something you already verified?" The taller officer didn't flinch. "Yes, ma'am." She stood slowly, every eye in first class on her now. Her seatmate in 2B didn't say a word, just looked away out the window as if none of it concerned him. No one said anything, not one person. No one asked a question. No one stood up. She followed the officers down the aisle, tote on her shoulder, heart thudding in a rhythm she hadn't felt in years, not since her early days pitching in rooms where no one expected the black woman at the end of the table to be the one leading the call. Out in the jet bridge, the lead officer turned. "We've confirmed your boarding pass is valid," he said. "There was a mistake." Simone narrowed her eyes. "A mistake?" He nodded. "Seems the flight attendant thought. Never mind. We apologize for the inconvenience." Just like that. No admission, no responsibility, no accountability, just a mistake. They offered to reboard her, but she shook her head. "I'll take the next flight," she said, calm and sharp. "Send me the rebooking info." She didn't raise her voice. She didn't curse. She didn't cry. She just turned and walked back into the terminal. But the damage was already done, and nobody even knew who they were dealing with. She didn't grab a coffee, didn't scroll on her phone, didn't vent into the void of social media. Simone sat by the gate in Terminal 3, back straight, legs crossed, typing steadily into a folder labeled contingency. A young gate agent approached hesitantly, holding out a fresh boarding pass. "Miss Banner, we've rebooked you on the 6:40 flight, still first class. We're really sorry about the earlier situation." Simone looked up. "Do you know what the situation actually was?" she asked, voice steady. The agent shifted. "There was a seat mix-up, I think." Simone held her gaze. "That's what they told you." He hesitated. That's all I was given, ma'am. She nodded. Thanks. He left quickly. She tapped her tablet again and opened the private notes she'd made for tomorrow's boardroom presentation. Project Avalon, pages of data, metrics, deal projections. Their executives thought they were buying just another startup to plug into their aerospace tech portfolio. What they didn't know, what no one knew yet, was that she was the founder, sole shareholder, and majority decision-maker of Banner Systems, the company they'd been chasing for 8 months. She had kept it private by design. Her strategy was always the same: led from the shadows until the ink dried, then let the world find out. But now that deal was dead. Not because of the money, not even because of the public humiliation, but because she'd seen enough. And Avalon Dynamics was about to feel the cost. She boarded the evening flight without incident. Same seat, different crew, no apologies this time, just stiff smiles and polite nods. When the wheels lifted off the tarmac, Simone closed her eyes and exhaled deeply. The sky outside was pitch black, not a star in sight. It didn't matter. She had her own direction. But when she landed, she wasn't heading to a boardroom. She was heading for the kill switch. The car service was already waiting when she landed at Newark Liberty. Midnight traffic was light. Simone didn't say much. The driver asked if she needed the radio. She shook her head. He didn't ask again. By 1:15 in the morning, she was back in her Tribeca apartment, lights low, the city humming somewhere in the background. She kicked off her shoes, poured herself a small glass of ginger tea, and opened her laptop at the kitchen island. One new email waited from Avalon's head of corporate development. Looking forward to locking things in tomorrow, the board excited to meet her in person. She stared at it for a second, then hit reply. Subject: change of plans, effective immediately. Banner Systems would be withdrawing from all acquisition talks with Avalon Dynamics. They were no longer interested in any form of partnership or merger. No further communication was necessary. Best, SB. She clicked send. No explanation, no long statement. Let them figure it out. Let the confusion bloom. She didn't owe them clarity. They had never offered her any. Simone leaned back and closed her laptop. The tea had gone cold. Her phone buzzed, a text from her assistant. Just got a ping. Avalon's team is already checking in for the 9 a.m. meeting. Should I cancel the room? Simone typed back, cancel everything, then added, also, don't respond to press. Let them spin for a bit. She got up and walked to the window. New Jersey's lights blinked in the distance. From this height, the world looked small, manageable, understandable. And just like that, Avalon Dynamics lost a $600 million deal over a moment they couldn't even describe properly. They thought they were talking to just another vendor, just another signature, just another woman in seat 2A. But the next morning, they would learn her name. The whole world would. The first call came in at 7:43 that morning. Mitchell Corbin, CFO of Avalon Dynamics, stared at his phone like it was broken. He read the email again, then a third time. Withdrawal, immediate, no reason, no follow-up. He called Simone's team. No answer. He called again. Voicemail. By 8 o'clock, the boardroom on the 47th floor of the Avalon Tower in Stamford was full, coffee cups untouched, laptops open, tension crackling. Does anyone know what the hell happened? Someone muttered. No, nothing. She just ghosted. She didn't ghost, Mitchell said. She sent a termination notice. And why would she do that the night before signing? Heads turned. No one had answers, only questions. Legal tried calling. PR was looped in. Quiet panic followed. Then the first whisper hit social media, a blurry video clip, a woman in first class, black, calm, wearing a navy blazer, being escorted off a plane. The caption read that she had the seat and they kicked her off anyway. Then another clip surfaced. Someone had filmed the security officers approaching her. You could barely hear what was said, but her body language said everything. Quiet, annoyed, composed. People started tagging airlines. Then someone identified the flight. Within 2 hours, her name was trending. Simone Banner. And now the headlines were writing themselves. A black CEO removed from a flight despite a valid ticket. Simone Banner terminates a $600 million deal after airline incident. Avalon Dynamics faces backlash after silent partner walks away. The boardroom went silent. One junior executive pulled up a financial profile. Banner Systems was fully private. She owned it all. They had been about to buy out a black female CEO and hadn't even known it. Someone else chimed in that she'd been building this technology for 8 years, quietly, smartly, with no leaks. Mitchell rubbed his forehead. We didn't even know what she looked like. We never thought to check. Silence again. Then someone from marketing said it out loud. Do you think she backed out because of the plain thing? Mitchell didn't respond, but everyone already knew the answer. And outside those glass walls, the stock had already started to fall. Simone didn't make a statement at first. She watched it unfold from her office, barefoot, sipping from a chipped mug that read, "Still I rise." Headlines stacked up like dominoes. Video clips filled every feed. Comment sections flooded. Black business leaders, civil rights attorneys, and former colleagues all chimed in. Not one of them was surprised, but they were all paying attention now. By day 2, Avalon's stock had dropped 7%. By day 3, airlines were issuing half apologies, reviewing protocols, scrambling to manage optics. On day 4, Simone opened her email and typed a message addressed to no one in particular, simply to whom it may concern, then shared it with the world. She wrote that she had been escorted off a plane because someone didn't think she belonged in the seat she paid for, not because of a threat, not because of policy, but because of perception. Someone saw a black woman in first class and decided that was suspicious. No one asked for her name. No one checked their bias. No one spoke. They just watched. She hadn't been loud. She hadn't resisted. She hadn't cried. She got off the plane, and hours later she ended a $600 million deal. That wasn't revenge, she wrote. That was clarity. This wasn't about business. This was about dignity, and no one got to buy hers. The statement spread across platforms. Within hours it was quoted by major outlets. People reposted it with their own stories, times they were questioned, doubted, watched too closely, especially in places they had earned access to. Avalon Dynamics never recovered the deal. Investors started asking tougher questions. The board reshuffled by the end of the quarter. None of that mattered to Simone. She never named the airline, never gave the security guards any attention. She didn't have to. She reminded people of something they keep forgetting. You can't measure someone's value by what you expect them to look like, and just because someone doesn't make noise when you disrespect them doesn't mean they won't make a decision that changes everything. So the next time you see someone in a space you didn't expect, maybe think twice before assuming they're lost. They might be the reason your company exists, or doesn't. What does your silence cost? Speak up. Be better. Respect people, especially when no one's watching.